Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something pretty awesome. We are taking the abstract, those seemingly invisible concepts of human connection, and we're totally demystifying them. By the end of our time together, we're actually going to give our most profound emotions, structures, colors, and shapes. We'll be exploring the frameworks behind exactly how we love and how we cultivate gratitude.
It's a really compelling question, isn't it? I mean, have you ever actually tried to categorize the exact type of love you feel? We usually treat our most profound emotions like this unpredictable, mysterious magic. But what if love is a concept we can actually break down and map out?
Okay, let's dive into this. To start making sense of it all, we turn to Canadian psychologist John Alan Lee's framework, the color wheel theory of love. Lee basically proposed that love functions just like a painter's palette. He identified three primary types of love. And just like blending your primary colors, yellow, blue, and red, when you mix these base types together, beautiful and highly complex secondary loves start to emerge. Let's look at the first primary base, Eros. So Eros is this highly intense, deeply passionate, physical and emotional love. It's strongly driven by chemistry, pheromones, and just pure, raw instinct. If you've ever felt that sudden, overwhelming urge to share literally everything with a partner right away, yeah, that's Eros. It completely thrives on the excitement of the unknown, often sparking when partners are practically strangers right at the beginning.
And this brilliantly illustrates the highly dynamic, explosive physical connection of Eros. Lovers operating in this state are basically in search of an adventure. It's often an exclusive relationship, yet, surprisingly, it doesn't tend to be possessive. They just dive headfirst into the physical and emotional bond, completely ready for the inherent risks that come with falling in love.
Moving on, the second primary base is Ludus, which actually derives from the Latin word for game. This is a playful, flirtatious love where acquiring someone's attention is the ultimate goal. For a ludic lover, romance is essentially a sport. There are usually absolutely no intentions of long-term commitment. In fact, if things start getting a little too serious or intimate, the ludic lover is usually the first one to hit the exits. Ghosting, anyone? Our third primary base is Storge. Think of Storge as a slow-developing, incredibly steady love. It's that highly affectionate family love or the profound bond you have with a lifelong friend. It's the literal embodiment of the phrase, blood is thicker than water. You see, Storge isn't driven by frantic sexual desires. Instead, it's founded on absolute trust and loyalty. It offers a really powerful sense of security in times of need. It's a protective bond, but rarely an overly jealous one.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing what happens when we start mixing those primary colors. The combinations create extreme secondary types of love. Take Mania, for example. Mania is a volatile cocktail. It's a roller coaster characterized by extreme highs and devastating lows. A manic lover feels a desperate need to force affection from their partner, which often leads to obsessive, jealous behaviors and a constant state of really high anxiety.
Another secondary type is Pragma, which is a practical, logical love. Here, convenience and compatibility totally take the wheel over raw emotion and romance. Pragmatic lovers are essentially running background checks on potential partners. They evaluate education, financial capabilities, and social status. They treat dating almost like a corporate merger, firmly believing that a well-researched pro and con list is the absolute best blueprint for a happy life.
Finally, we have Agape. This is the selfless, unconditional, and all-giving sacrificial love. In an agape relationship, a person genuinely puts their partner's needs before their own. It is pure altruistic devotion. Agape lovers treat their partner as a profound blessing, offering unbreakable commitment without even a hint of jealousy.
Section 1. The Geometry of Love. Sternberg's Triangular Theory. All right, so we've explored the entire spectrum of colors for relationships. But now I want you to shift gears and think about their literal shape. According to psychologist Robert Sternberg, love can be mapped out as a geometry problem, specifically a triangle made of three distinct components. So at the top, we have intimacy, which represents emotional closeness and trust. Down on the bottom left, we have passion, representing physical attraction. And rounding it out on the right is commitment, the firm decision to stick together long term.
So the crucial point is how combining these different points creates highly specific relationship types. Look at romantic love. It has intimacy and passion. That's like a blossoming relationship where you feel like best friends who are intensely drawn to one another physically. Then there's companionate love, high intimacy and commitment. You see this a lot in long-term marriages where the initial raw passion might have faded, but a deeply satisfying emotional bond remains. And fatuous love? That's passion plus commitment without the intimacy. Think of a whirlwind courtship based on physical attraction without a deep emotional foundation. Looking at this breakdown, which combination actually defines your current situation?
Okay, so we've mapped out how we connect with others, but let's pivot to something equally vital, how we connect with our own circumstances. We need to talk about gratitude. Now, it's incredibly important to distinguish between gratitude as a state versus a trait. As a state, gratitude is a temporary emotion. It's that fleeting warmth you get when someone holds a door for you. But as a trait, gratitude is a deliberate, long-term character strength. It's a mindset practiced daily, and the beautiful thing is, it's a strength you can actively enhance.
To really visualize this, we use the iceberg of gratitude. When we think about our blessings, we usually focus on the very tip of the iceberg, poking out of the water. These are the massive, profound life events: our health, getting a great education, or securing reliable employment. You know, the really obvious stuff. Let's move to and see how this builds, because just like a real iceberg, the vast, overwhelming majority of our gratitude potential remains entirely hidden underwater. Below the surface are the simple, everyday pleasures that often go totally unnoticed unless we actively look for them. We're talking about the warmth of the sunshine, a brief moment of laughter, a stranger's unexpected kindness, or simply getting lost in a great book. If you only look at the tip, you are missing out on an ocean of joy.
Section 2. Cultivating daily gratitude. Actionable tools for well-being. Now, I want to slow down for a second, because gratitude as a trait isn't something you're simply born with. It's something you have to actively build.
So how do we do that? Well, research has given us 4 powerful, proven ways to cultivate a mindset that experiences life less as a constant threat and more as a positive challenge. First, actively count your blessings to reframe your daily stressors. Second, consciously explore that hidden iceberg of gratitude we just discussed. Third, maintain a gratitude journal. And fourth, write a letter of self-compassion. Let's zoom in on that gratitude journal for a moment. This isn't just some fluffy, feel-good idea. It's backed by hard science. Studies by researchers like Emmons and Shelton have conclusively proven that simply taking a few minutes to jot down daily or weekly thankful events significantly improves your health and your subjective well-being. It is vastly more effective for your mental health than keeping a diary of your daily stresses or venting about your problems. Identifying and reflecting on the good actually rewires your focus entirely. Finally, let's turn that kindness inward with a highly practical exercise, a self-compassion letter. Try this out. First, pick something you tend to criticize about yourself, and just write down how that inadequacy makes you feel. Next, imagine an unconditionally loving, supportive friend. Step 3. Write a letter to yourself purely from their encouraging, forgiving perspective. Then put it aside for about 15 minutes. When you come back and reread it, truly let that compassion sink in. It's extending the grace we give others directly back to ourselves. We've covered the complex colors of love, the distinct geometry of relationships, and the deep hidden depths of the gratitude iceberg. But all of this incredible science and theory ultimately points back to you, right here, right now. Understanding the anatomy of human connection doesn't require a psychology degree. It begins with a single, deliberate moment of reflection. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, essential question to carry into the rest of your day. What are you grateful for today?